Good morning, New Brunswick, and welcome to the New Brunswick Today Show for today, Wednesday, November 23rd. I'm Charlie Cradaville, I'll be your host. We've got a great show for you today. It's our last show before Thanksgiving, so have a happy holiday, everybody out there. Our guest today is one of the people who helps make this show possible, Mr. Mark Welsh. We'll also preview the upcoming election for New Jersey governor. It's already getting started. It's a year away. It's 42 degrees here in downtown New Brunswick. The high today is going to be 51. The low tonight, 40 degrees. That's according to weather.com. We've got 3 road closures for you today in New Brunswick. Sanford Street is closed between Joyce Kilmer and Livingston Aves until 4 p.m. Seaman Street will be closed between Troop Ave and Commercial Ave until 4 as well. The northbound side of Route 27 is going to have a lane reduction in place between Quentin Ave and Sanford Street tonight, starting at 8 p.m. until 6 a.m. on Thanksgiving. Now, our top story today is the race to succeed Chris Christie as New Jersey's governor. As we reported yesterday, Christie appears to have hit rock bottom, as it now looks like Donald Trump won't give him a lifeboat out of New Jersey. So, barring impeachment proceedings or Christie quitting the governor job, New Jersey will likely be stuck with Chris Christie until January 2018 when his term expires. It's his second term, so like President Barack Obama, Christie is limited to serving those 2 consecutive terms in office, and he won't be able to legally run for re-election next year in November 2017. That means the race is already on to succeed the controversial leader, with at least 5 candidates already declaring their intention to run in those 2 major parties. On the Republican side, we've so far got Christie's Lieutenant Governor Kim Guadagno, who hails from Monmouth County and has apparently been seeking to distance herself from the unpopular leader, along with Assemblyman Jack Schitarelli out of Somerville and Joseph Rouleau, who hails from Little Egg Harbor. On the Democratic side, we only had 1 candidate in the race until last week. That man, Phil Murphy, served as President Obama's ambassador to Germany. Even before this most recent election, prominent Democrats were telling us that Murphy had already locked up the Democrat nomination, and they were expecting him to coast to victory next year. In fact, U.S. Congressman Frank Pallone, perhaps the highest-ranking Democrat in this area, told us as much when we interviewed him right here on the New Brunswick Today Show. And for a little while, it looked like Murphy might be the only candidate on the Democrat side in this race. Pallone and many of those other Democrat leaders began endorsing Murphy in a flurry of announcements shortly after Murphy's top 2 rivals, both of whom had been acting like they were going to run without explicitly saying it, dropped out of the race and supported Murphy. But that all changed last week when John Wisniewski, a longtime Democrat politician based out of Sayreville, threw his hat into the ring. Wisniewski, a.k.a. The Wiz, has served in the New Jersey State Assembly for 2 decades, but he's been making a name for himself recently in 2 major ways. First, he led the fight to expose what turned out to be a criminal enterprise in the Port Authority under Chris Christie. We all know it as Bridgegate, the scandal that kneecapped Governor Christie, dashed his hopes for being president, dashed his hopes for being vice president, and may very well have cost him that White House job he wanted. And it may even lead to a criminal prosecution of the governor himself. Wiz led that committee that used its subpoena power to force the production of those damning documents that revealed the devious and evil nature of the criminal scheme. The second way that Wiz set himself apart was by being the only prominent Democrat elected official in all of New Jersey to support Bernie Sanders for president instead of Hillary Clinton. His endorsement of the longtime senator took many by surprise, but now some people are hopeful that the popular Vermont senator could return the favor and endorse Wisniewski's campaign for governor. Now, our very own Chris Roberts was in Sayreville last night for Wisniewski's big event. This is his first event since announcing his campaign, and here's what this candidate for governor had to say.
So when I look around the state today, I see a state that isn't working. A governor who's disengaged and more interested in his next job. A short-change education system. Crumbling roads and bridges. And unfortunately, a broken budget And when I look to the future, I worry that the New Jersey we have, that the New Jersey we see today, will not offer my children the same opportunities that Debbie and I have had and that all of us have had. Our economy, our politics, our state, and our nation are off track. We have an economy that rewards the very top, but fails to provide the very basic good wages for the middle and working classes. We cannot allow elections to be bought or sold to the highest bidder. One of the reasons I was proud to stand with Senator Sanders in his campaign for President of the United States was his commitment to overturn Citizens United and to shut down a corrupt campaign finance system that props up a rigged economy. So my record, I've spent over 20 years in the General Assembly. In that time, I have fought for the middle and working class, taking on entrenched special interests that seem to want to run our state for themselves. Whether it was promoting fire safety legislation or fighting to improve mass transportation and transportation systems, or battling the Port Authority over reckless and incredible toll increases, my focus has always been on the middle class and the people who struggle every day to make New Jersey a success. We had a governor, another governor, a governor from Goldman Sachs, who ruled New Jersey for a while, who had this idea that we could sell the turnpike and the parkway because it would bring in a lot of money. And there were people in government who said, you know, that seems like a fine idea. We could solve a lot of our problems. But the real problem is that you and me and everybody who drives the turnpike and the parkway would wind up paying 800% more in tolls over the life of that deal. Working families couldn't afford to go to work with that deal. And I fought against it, and I was successful, and the deal didn't happen. We'll stand against political violence and every attempt to further dismantle the Voting Rights Act or to disenfranchise or intimidate voters. My administration will stand against constitutional violence and every attempt to undermine the rule of law, to stifle the First Amendment, to take away our constitutional rights to petition our government. Because I don't come from Wall Street, and I've not spent my career in reckless speculation or outsourcing jobs. My roots are here in Sayreville on Main Street, the main streets of New Jersey, where working middle-class families only want one thing. They just want a fair shot. So there's something wrong with this equation. You know, the 100 top CEOs, 100 people, they have more retirement wealth for themselves, 100 people, than the bottom 116 million Americans. That disparity is just not a statistic. That's a disparity that affects each and every one of us, and it's something that we need to fix. So let me be clear. If you have earned a state pension, you will get your pension. We will not raise the retirement age, increase your costs, or cut your benefits. My name is John Leszewski, and I'm running to be the next governor of the state of
And welcome back to the New Brunswick Today Show. Now, there's also a local candidate, Seth Copperdale, a minister in Highland Park, who's running with the Green Party. So that makes for already a half dozen declared candidates in that governor's race. We can promise you that we will cover that race for the rest of the campaign and keep you informed about what's going on in New Jersey politics and government. As we've become known for, we are very proud to be the only independent, bilingual community newspaper. We are, make sure you get this latest issue, which is available for free all over Middlesex County. It's in English and Spanish, and you can find it in the big blue boxes we've got around town. You can find a full list of where to locate those boxes on the NewBrunswickToday.com website. It's also available in many great businesses around Middlesex County, but the best way to get New Brunswick Today is to have it sent directly to your home or business by becoming a sustaining member online. You can do that at members.newbrunswicktoday.com. Please support our work. Help us keep doing this work to inform you. For a limited time, you can subscribe for just $5 a month and get 2 issues mailed to your house each month. Get the only bilingual community newspaper mailed to your home anywhere in the United States. Just visit members.newbrunswicktoday.com today. Now, keep checking our website, newbrunswicktoday.com, for the latest on what's going on all over Middlesex County, but also make sure you like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter. That's where you can find not just our articles and a good discussion, but also real-time breaking news as it happens. For instance, yesterday we were at the scene of a crash, sent a little boy to the hospital. The boy appeared to be on his way home from school yesterday when he was struck by a vehicle at the intersection of Livingston Avenue and Howard Street, also known as Stratford Place. Now, NB Today was on the scene, and we'll have a full article for you very soon. Our very own Carlos Ramirez has been covering pedestrian safety issues here in New Brunswick. As you may recall, he was one of the voices that was questioning the Board of Education's decision to cancel courtesy busing for middle school students who are more than 1.5 miles away from the school. Now, keep an eye on newbrunswicktoday.com for that story. Carlos is working on an update to both of those. Now, we move now to the huge demolition project right next to our studios here in downtown New Brunswick. Take a look at this. The New Brunswick Parking Authority authorized a company called Northstar to demolish the Faeren parking garage and mall. It's an abandoned eyesore. It's been sitting on some prime real estate in downtown right next to our studio. The NBPA has already chosen New Brunswick Development Corporation, better known as DevCo, to build some massive structures on that site, and it is DevCo that's spending $2.1 million to demolish the facility. They have an agreement with the NBPA, which gives the developer an option to buy the property from the NBPA for the value that's found in an appraisal minus the cost of the $2.1 million demolition. Check out New Brunswick Today over the holiday weekend. We're going to have the full story for you on that, plus another parking deck that's going to be demolished very soon, the Wolfson parking deck. Now, speaking of the New Brunswick Parking Authority, take a look at these photos. You might have noticed some of the NBPA's vehicles have these little things on top of them now. They are license plate readers, not unlike the ones that you may have become accustomed to seeing on police cars these days, more and more these days. And they are part of a new enforcement strategy that the NBPA is trying out at the Jersey Avenue Park and Ride, which is near the city's other secondary train station. Now, starting October 1st, the NBPA has been using those readers to catch people parking in the Park and Ride lot who haven't purchased a permit through the authority. But the agency says that it plans to roll out that same technology for use citywide, including on those streets where permit parking is enforced. It has a contract with a Somerville-based company called Paylock to run that system, and we're looking into that contract. We're going to be asking some questions about this new technology and what the NBPA is doing to ensure that it's not misused or abused at the next NBPA Board of Commissioners meeting. That's November 30th at 5 p.m. The meeting is going to be held on the 6th floor of the city's tallest building, located at 106 Somerset Street. It is open to the public, and you can ask questions there if you want. In Rutgers news, the school held a historic outdoor wrestling match on Saturday morning where the Scarlet Knights narrowly defeated the Princeton Tigers. And later that night, however, things didn't go as well when the Rutgers football team faced off with Penn State and got shut out 49-0. That means the football team still hasn't won a single game since the school abruptly canceled a controversial student tailgate party after its athletic director, Patrick Hobbs, threw back a beer in front of a cheering crowd of students back in September. Since that day, the team has been outscored. The football team has been outscored 329-73, and they lost every game they played. Now, that incident was captured on video and actually led to a big controversy. At the New Brunswick Today show, we were actually the first to show you that video of Patrick Hobbs addressing that crowd and drinking that beer. And here it is, one more time, Patrick Hobbs at the tailgate.
No, I can't drink that right now.
much more serious news, a new lawsuit has accused Rutgers' controversial athletics department of creating a, quote, sexually hostile educational environment. The civil lawsuit is being brought by a former Rutgers student. It's against the university and two former Rutgers football players who are no longer on that team. The student, identified only by the initials KL, alleges she was sexually assaulted by Marquez Ford and John Bowers, both of whom allegedly had sex with the woman while she was heavily intoxicated. That's according to a report on NJ.com. Now, KL does not remember the assault, as she was apparently blacked out from 8 shots of tequila, but Bowers, who was formerly her boyfriend, told her about it the next morning, and KL said that Rutgers Athletics actually tried to suppress this story by telling witnesses and Bowers to change their stories. That's according to lawnews.com. Because of the school's involvement, KL is also holding Rutgers liable and named the university in the suit. This all went down last year, shortly after a slew of current and former football players were arrested and charged with a series of violent crimes, including breaking a man's jaw in a fight over a parking space on Delafield Street and repeatedly robbing drug dealers by force. Now, those cases, combined with an academic integrity scandal around the same time, ultimately led to the unceremonious departure of football coach Kyle Flood and athletic director Julie Herman, who was Hobbs' predecessor. In this matter, the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office is investigating the claim, but they have not returned calls related to the case, according to those published reports. A spokesperson for Rutgers Athletics and another for the University Communications and Media Relations Department both said that they don't comment on pending litigation in 2 separate emails. Now, more bad news for Rutgers Athletics. Rutgers police are searching for 4 men who are suspected of stealing athletic equipment from the Rutgers Athletics Center on Livingston campus. That's the basketball arena. This happened 2 weeks ago, but the news is just coming out now that around 3 a.m. on Friday, November 11th, the 4 men entered the building and stole, quote, a high value of athletic equipment. That's according to a New Jersey State Police post that came out on their Facebook page on November 22nd, yesterday. Police shared photos of the suspects, which you're looking at right now, and they can be seen on the screen right here. Now, it was the NJ State Police who advertised this, not the Rutgers Police Department. The State Police put out those photos of this crime, and that's still an unanswered question why Rutgers Police haven't publicized the crime themselves. We're going to look into that, and you bet New Brunswick Today is going to continue digging for answers. Now, the RUPD is asking that anyone with information or that was in the area of the rack at that time, again on Friday, November 11th, they're asking you to contact the Detective Bureau at 848-932-8025. And now, for the past month, Quad 2 on the Livingston campus, just about a half-mile away from that athletic center, has been experiencing some major problems. The students have reported heating problems. We learned that that's due to a steam pipe that was surrounded with asbestos that had to be removed, and dozens of students were left without heating in their rooms for a few weeks. And until recently, hot water was not guaranteed in that building. So for several days in House 29, part of Quad 2, they had no hot water. And curiously, Rutgers refused to explain what was causing the problem when New Brunswick Today asked. Also the RAs there were kept in the dark about the situation in Quad 2 for about 3 weeks. That was until New Brunswick Today was able to get an in-person meeting with the Vice President of Facilities at the school. Stay tuned to NewBrunswickToday.com. Chris Roberts will have the full story on this in an article coming out over the weekend. And now it is time for us to bring out our guest. He's a very special friend of the show. He's actually a good friend of mine, and big part of the reason that we're able to do what we do. Mark Welsh has been our marketing and advertising director for much of this year, and we're very proud to have him on the show to make a special announcement and give you a chance to meet the people behind the scenes at the New Brunswick Today show. So we'll be right back with Mark Welsh after this. And welcome back. We're now joined by Mark Welsh, good friend. How you doing, buddy?
Good to see you.
Great to see you. Now, Mark, you're here almost every day. You actually usually watch the show in the next room, and you help keep our guests company. How'd you end up doing this? How'd you end up working at a newspaper? We're all friends.
Going back 4 or 5 years ago, if you remember when New Brunswick was just a newsletter, and that's when I got to know you. So I was always been keeping up with New Brunswick Today, and then I'd gone out to the West Coast and got into sales and digital advertising. And then kudos to you, you built New Brunswick Today into the print, and you have reporters out there every single day. So I came back to help you guys out because I believe in it. As we were talking about before, what's really important is so rarely people get to do things with their lives that matters, and that can help with the community and things like that. So when you do have a chance to help the community and things like that, you gotta do it. You gotta fight for what's right.
Right on, man. Well, we're very grateful to have you. I mean, I mean it when I say we wouldn't be able to do this without you, because people don't think too much about it. But when you look through our paper and you see these folks that are advertising, that is representing a big part of what's keeping us going, is support from local businesses who want to reach our audience and want to support what we're doing. So kudos to you for helping get so many great clients on board. And I want to emphasize that folks who read the paper, you see the ads in the paper, when you support those businesses, you're supporting New Brunswick Today. Make sure you let them know that you saw their ad in New Brunswick Today and you're glad that they're supporting New Brunswick Today. Sure. Helps make Mark's job easier and helps us keep this going. So we're excited to announce that starting next week, we're going to actually have opportunities for folks to sponsor this show.
Sponsorship.
Yeah, so tell us about how folks can get involved with supporting this show specifically.
Great. So it's really important in these trying times to not only just by helping your local community. It's not just about like getting on the school board, which is really important, things like that, but also you want to make sure you keep journalism going. Massively important to keeping our democracy strong. So sponsoring the live show here in the morning could help us in a lot of ways, and it could also be good for businesses that do it big time. So number one, you'd be reaching people who care about the community, our wonderful viewers who watch the show every single day. Thank you. So you'd be reaching out to them. But then it's also, we've been getting almost 1,000 views.
Yeah, you can reach a big audience, and we love to support the businesses that support us. We'll talk about you. We'll emphasize what you want. Emphasize if you've got a product or an event that you want people to know about. We can help enlighten our audience about that. Sure. So definitely call Mark today. Can we get your phone number? It's in the paper, but tell people where to reach you.
Great. You can reach me at 732-707-1628. Give me a call anytime, any day.
Cool, man. So tell me, what do you like about working here? Or what don't you like? I mean, what do you? It's an interesting job, right? It's a pretty unusual
New Brunswick. Well, number one, I love New Brunswick. It's such a diverse community, and people here always stand up for what is right. A lot of soldiers here in New Brunswick. Number two about New Brunswick Today is the amount of content that you guys put out. I mean, you have reporters here who work for nothing but the thrill of doing what they love to do, and they're out there every single day making sure they report on everything. It's really truly inspiring, and it's legit. And so yeah, those are my favorite things about New Brunswick Today, is the dedication. So.
Cool. Yeah, it's a great place to work, and we've got a lot of up and coming people doing big things. I know you were at a scene of the unfortunate car accident yesterday. That was actually your picture we put on the screen that you took, but you weren't the only New Brunswick Today person there. We also had Carlos Ramirez, our fearless 15-year-old reporter, was on the scene as well. So we actually live here. You actually moved to New Brunswick, and you're a part of the community here. Sure. So folks, reach out, give Mark a call. He's fun, he's good people, and he can actually hook you up with some pretty good deals on reaching our audience. We actually really want to emphasize our prices are very competitive.
Yeah,
right?
Be one of the first, and we'll take care of you. Absolutely, you'll spend hardly anything, and you'll reach a lot of people. Really good stuff. And join us tomorrow when Charlie's going to shave his beard.
Not yet. But yeah, Mark, seriously, thank you for all the hard work you do. I know it's not easy, but you've kept us going and kept us growing. So the reason we're able to do a show like this is because we have good people like you working with us, connecting us with good businesses and people who want to promote important things to our audience. So definitely reach out. It's 732-707-1628 is the number to reach Mark. If you want to sponsor an episode of the show, you can sponsor it for a business, a nonprofit, a charity, or even if you're just a cool person and you want to say the show is sponsored by you, definitely we're happy to have your support. So do that. Check out this latest issue. We're already working on the next issue. And please support the businesses in here and support us. You can go to members.newbrunswicktoday.com to become a member today and actually have the paper mailed directly to your home. Thank you, Mark, so much. Have a happy holiday, man.
Thank you, Charlie. You too.
Keep up the great work.
Great.
And you guys tune in again next week. We'll be back with another great set of shows for you.